you can have real ideas and it makes more sense. So, what I want to do, so this is going to be to talk about Brigitte. I guess if I put this on YouTube, everyone's going to miss the shenanigans before this. But so, when I saw the Dallas vs. Fusion game, I saw some exquisite use of Brigitte. And I know people are like, oh, Dallas is ahead of the game, and I don't think anyone understands how ahead of the game they are, because they did very, very well against Fusion. The times they didn't run Brigitte on Lijiang, they had some issues, but I think there were some other issues outside of hero picks that led to that. And the last time on the last round on Watchpoint Gibraltar, which we will not get to, just because it's double sniper, no Brigitte, it's not really applicable. Just understand that Dallas won not using Brigitte in a very good way. Like they showed very good skill, they showed very good technique and tactics, and it was good, but just not good for this review. So I just started writing stuff down about Brigitte and how I feel about her and her design. And again, this is coming from a design kind of perspective rather than like she's OP and like arguing about numbers and stuff like this. The main point I want to make about Brigitte is that I would say she is the first true duelist in Overwatch. Right? So I got like, you got the DPS, tank, and support categories, and that's kind of what I got here. Oh, let me switch to red, because red is, that's what people do, right? So you got the three categories, and as anyone here has said, or have seen me say, like, the categories are just there to help new players. They do it's a very vague design idea, like, we kind of want this guy to be more defensive, so he's going to excel in a particular area and be very weak in others, or DPS, so this is going to be an all-around good hero, but they lack a very specific, like, tankiness or supportness, stuff like that. So, design-wise, it's a good thing just to put it, like, it's in that direction. No specifics, it's just in that direction, and that's fine. But with Brigitte, she kind of covers all of them, right? She's definitely a DPS. Hold on. Okay, I think my bricks are staying. She's definitely a DPS, right? It's a bit low if you compare it to like McCree or other DPS heroes, but it's decent. It's consistent. That's the big part. Her ability to tank, it's not like Tracer or Genji where people are like, oh yeah, they have some survivability. Because evasion-based tanks can be considered, or evasion-based mechanics on a hero can be considered some type of survivability or tankiness. But we'll go over, as far as Genji and Tracer are, it's not dependable, as evasion naturally is. And obviously she's support, but it's a very restrictive support, right? She has to hit something, they have to be close to her, and it's a rather low amount, and it can't stack, it just low amount, and she has to be in combat for it, and you gotta be close to her, so it's okay. The big thing I want to put out, or figure out, is that it's all consistent. Like, this is the main point. Oh, there goes the bricks. Alright, so it's consistent. Now, when I talk about consistency, I want to talk about what people would call skill. As a game developer, if you say this is difficult, don't give a fuck. Don't care at all. And this is me. This isn't like the industry standard. This is just me and my personal take on it. When it comes to skill, all that tells me is how consistent it is. So if there's a jump in Mario you can make 50% of the time, I'd say, that's like a medium difficult. Like, you would say that's kind of difficult at times, and I'd be like, a guy can make it 50% of the time, right? You can be somewhat consistent on that. So it's not that difficult. When they're like, alright, this one is very difficult, I can make this like 10% of the time, I'd be like, okay. So you have to be skilled to do that. So I can see it as consistency. The other way to look at skill and why is it in video games and how to handle it is essentially type of rewards, or to give a different feedback to the player. That's the other thing about skill. So like if you beat a game, get the good, bad, best ending, stuff like that. It just allows the game developer to give more feedback based on the gaming medium. So like if you look at the Trails of series. So the Trails of what is it? Or Trials of Cold Steel, Trials in the Sky, stuff like that. That series of game. Their actual objective with gaming is to tell a story. So if you put it on the easiest mode, you just literally just walk through it. There's no difficult. I don't think you'll ever lose. It's there to tell a story, but if you want a challenge, then you can knock it up, and then, right, it's a different reward for the player. It just gives devs something to give you to control and have a different experience. But for first-person shooters perspective, what we care about is consistency. So consistency matters a lot because you have heroes like Junkrat who are quite inconsistent. And now if you thought about Junkrat's attack, if you made it do like 50 damage, you're like, all right, he has a 20% chance to hit something. That's bad. Like, it's not worth it. That hero would never be picked. People would say it's not balanced. But then if we put it up to 200, you're like, whoa. Even though he hits it too little, when he does hit it, it's too strong. It's just the consistency is what you want to target. So that's why you see like things that are harder to hit, usually 120 damage, things that are easier to hit, scales the damage down. The idea is to make everything almost like balanced in a way that they're at the same point. So that was actually, I just said like up here I have AKA skill. Related to Overwatch paper on skill. So on this review on YouTube, and if anyone's in chat, like you can just do I think it's like bang paper, and it'll tell you, basically I wrote, I think it's like 3 pages about how Overwatch was designed, and it's designed to be available to everyone. It doesn't really care about skill. It just wants everyone to play the game. They want to hit the largest type of market and get everyone in, and then they'll figure out the skill. Like they'll figure out the skill at essentially the end part. So you got to understand, as an esport, Overwatch is more about the E than the sport, right? It's not there to teach people like this guy's the best at it, this guy's the worst at it. It's more about the entertainment part, and that's just a marketing decision by Blizzard. If anyone wants any like, is there any evidence of this, Chro? You can't just say that without evidence. Season 1, watch how fast they put the stop to stopwatch. Stopwatch is essentially, if it takes me 1 minute to get to the ending, right? What stopwatch means is when you attack, you have 1 minute to get it to the ending or you lose. So that means if you get it to here, and at 59 seconds, like you can't push it. It is 100% a confirmed loss because you can't possibly make up this distance in 1 second. It's very bad entertainment. This is also why they didn't put the hybrid map last. They put hybrid map last in Overwatch League once, and then once the team knew they lost, like they just threw the point. I forget what team it was, but they're just like, let's fuck around in the last point because it doesn't matter. We can't win. So Overwatch, I called it in chat. I put it in my Discord. I was like, pin this, guys. They will change this almost immediately. And sure enough, by the next week, they did change it to make hybrid not the last one. So understand that Overwatch is more entertainment than a sport. So when we talk about that has to be considered, that has to be taken into part when we start talking about skill and consistency. And the big thing about I'm sorry to talk about this too much, but when we talk about skill, I actually, about 10 years ago, I wrote a long paper in TF2. And the first 2 pages are about game design and it's good stuff, and the last, all the rest pages are absolute shit. And I didn't know much about writing or talking. I just needed to put this out there, and I did. And I don't think anywhere has it. I got it locally, but that's it. But the main 2 points that I forced on was, A, balance for the pros. Do not balance for any other metric. One simple reason, and one reason alone: you cannot design a tool that I can't misuse, right? So the idea of Widow with a sniper rifle, you're like, oh, that's an easy weapon to use. You're like, yeah, but I can easily not use that correctly, right? And you can't balance for this lower level of skill because they're going to use the weapons improperly, right? And when you do that, then how can you balance for something that is used incorrectly? You can't. So I'm like, well, you got to balance for you being used correctly by the pros. The other thing was that heroes or classes or anything is more defined by their weakness than their strengths. Lead with the weakness. Understand that. Design the weakness, and then you'll figure out the rest of the hero. But along with skill, I always believe this. Balance for the top. Balance for the pros. And we got into a discussion a couple days ago on stream, and people were like, they're talking about Shanghai Dragons, and they're like, man, Shanghai Dragons, like, it feels really bad that they haven't won a game. And I'm like, well, that doesn't mean they haven't gotten better. The problem is, and I deal with this in martial arts a lot, is that when a new person joins the school, you have to realize everyone at the school is training the same rate. Theoretically. So everyone is gaining skill like this, and that's not how skill gets gained, it's completely variable. But the problem is that if one person's here and another person's here, after a time, the same person's here and person 2 is still here. Person 1, person 2, person 1, person 2. So when they look at the next person, their elder, they're like, I haven't gained any skill at all. In fact, I'm still getting my ass whooped. In fact, this happened, like, I'd say about a month ago in class for me. Because we were going to a tournament, and I think some of the guys, they're like, I think I'm getting better, but, like, I still lose to you and him and him. And I'm like, well, like, this kid was young in his martial art career. He's, like, at 3-4 years. I'm at 16. The other guys in class are, like, 18 and 19. And my teacher's, like, at 25. It's like, we have so much on you. Don't worry about it. You're just measuring the same distance. And this applies in Overwatch too. So as people get better, understand that you may not think you're getting better, but you are. The problem is the whole community is getting better as a whole. So it's really hard to judge that. And don't get disheartened, because that can be really hard on some people. And you have to get over that. You have to understand you are getting better. And that's how Shanghai Dragons are. Like, everyone's comparing Shanghai Dragons to Dallas, let's say. But the truth is, both Dallas and Shanghai have gotten better together. So they're all getting better. It's just that you can't see it when comparing to the same person, like, that you're training. And once you get new people, then you'll see, oh, I did make a good progress. And how this has to deal with any of this shit is, the question came to my head was, okay, Chro, you said balance for the pros. Cool, you did that. But you also said, and no one called this on me, I really wish someone called me out on this. I'm always like, guys, everyone right now sucks at Overwatch. Everyone. Doesn't matter. Give me the best player in the league, he sucks. And people are like, well, he's better than you. I'm like, yeah, but you gotta understand, the game's at 2 years. This game is a baby. 8 years from now, when we're still playing Overwatch, if we are still playing Overwatch, it's going to be completely different, even if you didn't add any new heroes in. It would be a completely different game. And we'd look back and we're like, man, we were really dumb back then. Because people get better. So the problem is, how can you balance? I don't know if anyone sees the contradiction there, but how can you balance for the pros if everyone's constantly getting better, right? If I go, oh, let's balance at this part, because Widow, at her best, will get 50% accuracy. That's the best pro. Get 50% accurate. And then 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, it's more like they're at 80% accuracy, and Widow's really fucking good. In fact, Widow has to be played all the time. In fact, this is kind of what we're encountering right now in Overwatch, right? Some people are like, Widow's really used every game. She outclasses every single DPS hero. The people that could aggress on her, like Dive, they're just not that strong right now. Widows are getting better, and everyone's getting better. So it's like, as a game designer, it really struck me hard was I balanced for 50%. As time goes on, people will get better. How do you balance that? Do you have to constantly balance the game as people get better and better and better so that it's still balanced? Or do you want to reward that skill and just have that dominate the battlefield? It depends, really. Like, if it gets stale, remember, Overwatch is kind of more focused on the E than the sport. They would have to bring it down to 50%. Or, something to bring it back into balance. And it was kind of just like, I'm really racking my brain. I actually can't even give you a proper answer because I like this is the next thing I want to write about, and it's just a difficult thing to approach. Some people want there to be a high skill ceiling and you're rewarded for it, and that just becomes a dominant strategy, and you only do that ever. Other people want it to be a not stale game where all a bunch of strategy and tactics are available, so you can do it for anything, right? And it's like, oh man, both opinions are right, but I always said balance for the pros, but then I need a variable skill thing, so like maybe you should balance for all skill ranges, and then maybe just deal with whatever is an outlier at that point in time, and start reining it in to be more equal. Because if you balance for all skill rankings, then you can address these inconsistencies, because when you balance for all levels, you're accounting for these inconsistencies. And that's just my current train of thought. Like, sorry to get really sidetracked on it, but it's really important when we talk about consistency in Brigitte, because what makes Brigitte so good is her consistencies at everything. All right, so I talked about Brigitte. She's a DPS. She can kind of tank. She can kind of support. She's really good at all these, and more important, she has control. In fact, it's the control part with her stun that really stands out. That's what allows her to be who she is. A duelist, and more importantly, I call it, it's actually a Wing Chun term, but Lansao, it means barring hand, or like a banister. So, and the Lansao is legitimately like, oh, let me get up a little bit. It's just like this. It's considered a hard hand, which is different from a soft hand. It's a hard hand because it's just like, it's meant to be used a little bit forceful, but it doesn't stay that way. And that's exactly what Brigitte is. And what it means to bar, like legitimately like a banister, like something that bars your path. In Wing Chun, I'll try to stand up a little bit. I'm trying to straddle this thing at the same time. Like this, it buys me space for my other hand to come out, right? And this is a very easy, like, tanks buy space. DPS does damage, right? It's very, very metaphorical, very easy to understand. But to me, Brigitte means to bar. She's there to put a stop on things for a short period of time and then back out. And the only way she can actually do this, because she lacks the hit points and the burst damage, is with control. And this is why we talked about before, and I was like, Brigitte is really cool, and I understand why Blizzard was really apprehensive to give that 1 second nerf to her. Because everything depends on that control. Like, think about if Ryan, like, didn't have big of a hit point pool. You just run through a shield. Shields can be ran through. They can get around. It's not a big deal. A shield isn't the biggest thing to stop players. But if I can take that shield and smack you in the face with it, if it stuns you, then that is a threat. Then she can actually properly lock down a side. If you take that away from her, if you take the stun away from her, I don't think Brigitte functions as a character. She legitimately doesn't. And so people that want to make it like a 10 or 12 second cooldown, she wouldn't function as a hero. It's actually imperative to her entire design that she can lock down one side as a duelist, and she locks it down, again, through all these measures. She can DPS, she can heal, she can tank. And it's all absolute, right? DPS, I would consider it physical, right? It goes through shields, goes through everything outside of bubble. You can't dodge it. It's very easy to hit. It's very consistent, right? That's why it's low damage. It's very consistent. Her shield, while it does have some drawbacks, and we can talk about that later, and they're kind of bugs more than anything, her shield is 600 hit points, and like when it's up, right? It's not, there's no variable, there's no variable to it, right? It blocks things, and that's what it's there for. It's very, again, consistent. It's not like a Genji double jump or Tracer dot or blink, which is evasion based, and sometimes people are really good, right? You're depending on someone's ability to miss. It's not that consistent, as the nature of evasion based tanks are. And then support, and I don't want to talk about her burst heal, but as the passive, again, she hits you once, it lasts for like, I think it's like 4 seconds. If you hit you again, it just refreshes the timer. It's just a low, constant support. It's there, it's very consistent again. So those are like her strengths, and it's all about this consistency. Now, when we talk about like what does she lack at, well, if she's half good at everything, I got my yin yang sign right here. That means she's half bad at everything, right? And so this is how you kind of exploit her weaknesses. Is that all right? She's half good at damage, but she's actually half bad at damage as well. It's low damage. She can kind of do some burst to like 200 hit point hero, but if they're too far away, she can't really do much. Her tank, her shield, if she's moving sideways, because of the way her shield is designed, she can actually get shot in the foot here and here. And I was talking to Jinx earlier, and I was like, Jinx, she can get shot in the foot pretty easily. And he's like, oh yeah, if you're moving sideways, you can actually get hit by like shatters. You can get sniped in the head. You can like a lot of weird stuff starts happening when you're moving side to side. So she's actually a very linear type hero, and that's something worth of noting. So the shield is it's small. It only protects very little, and it's not rounded, right? So if we look at the top down view, like it's just this. She can easily get damaged by splash damage. She can easily get flanked. There's all these ways around her. So as a tank, again, she's half good. She's half good. Don't get me wrong, but she's also half bad. It's not as good as you think it is. And then her support, again, for herself, she actually supports herself the least amount, right? She can't burst heal herself. It's always this low consistent heal, and she has to be engaged in combat. But again, engage in combat with her, you always want to focus right on your front. You don't want to get flanked. Watch your sides. And this is why she looks really good with support. And by support, I mean other tanks. She's very good with Reinhardt. She's good with other tanks, Orisa. Something to give her reprieve for a couple seconds, and anything that actually, like, her shield could be here. If your shield could be everywhere else, that just buys her all the time in the world. It makes it very, very good. She actually needs support. She can't be like a solo. She can't be a solo tank. She can't be a solo healer. She can't be a solo DPS. These are her disadvantages. And like classic Sun Tzu, don't attack something where it's strong. That's fucking dumb, right? I always make the joke with this chair, and I'm like, guys, why would you ever try to break a chair straight down? The chair is designed to carry weight down. Like, hit it from the side. Like that. That's how you have to approach combat. So when you approach Brigitte, don't approach her head on. She's weak from every other angle. And if you do attack her head on, remember, half good, half bad means she's low duration. Well, she can tank, it's low. Like she can't take for very long. It's only 600 hit points on her shield. She only has 250 hit points. So it's all it's all in the middle, which means it's half good and half bad. So there's ways you can exploit everything. So the yin yang. Basically, she's half good, she's half bad. That's yin and yang. I said low DPS. I got written on here low range, small shield, low hit points, and support. She can't support herself, and overall, it's a low group heal, and it's kind of a lower AOE than really out there. Even her ultimate is, I think it's 10 meters. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's like 10 meters. It's actually not that big. As people have played, I think you're like, damn, I'm just like a little bit outside that range. And with her stacking only to 100, if you miss like 3 or 4 ticks, you're not going to get that 100. And I think if you don't get the 300 health as a 200 hit point hero, it's not even worth getting. It's worth getting the armor. But right now, what's big are Widow and Hanzo. So with Widow, you need exactly 300 hit points, some of it armor. So if she headshots you, 295 damage. If she's damage boosted, you're still dead. Same deal with Hanzo, headshot 250, so you need at least 245. You need 250 armor. And that'll take you, it'll make you live with 5 hit points. Again, if he's getting damage boosted, doesn't matter. So, her range is pretty low in everything. So her weaknesses, I just put low mobility. That's the biggest one you'll see right now. If there's any maps with any very, whatchamafoosit, very high, like, a lot of verticalities. There we are. There's the word I was looking for. Whatchamafoosit. Very high verticality, you'll see her not being played. So, watch Point Gibraltar, the match we're skipping today. There's no Brigitte. Why? Point 1, very, very vertical. Point 2, you have to dominate top of spaceship, or it really behooves you to be on top of spaceship and dominate that area and go up and down. Point 3, a little less up and down, but it's still needed. Like, large distances happen if, like, the attackers push the cart too far forward and the Widow gets put up in the back. You need someone that can cover that much distance. Her shield's so low hit points, can't do it. So, that's a big issue. Easily flankable. We already talked about her shield and how it's designed. Even when walking sideways, she can get shattered. She can get attacked through. I think Jinx even said, sometimes when moving sideways, you can get headshotted by a Widow still. So it's rough. Requires stun to properly zone, and we talked about that briefly. Remember, to zone is to bar. Remember, she has to actually physically bar you from going to an area. Why? She has low health, low damage. You could just walk right up in her shield, and you could just push her around if she didn't have that stun. It's actually that stun that bars the enemy away. Also, the one thing that's funny, she's a close range hero. The flail, it knocks people out of range. Again, this is akin to Wing Chun. Wing Chun, you'll see some styles and they like to push, they like to knock things away, and you'll see it with Wushu, which isn't, I'll say it, it's not very good fighting martial arts. Like, they look to push people away, and they'll just be like, "Bar, I'm a tiger." And it's like, wait a second. Tigers don't push things away. It's out and back. It brings it in. So, when you want to punch someone, don't punch them away. You want to dent them, so they stay there and you just damage the internals. That's kind of what it is. So, it's funny that she's such a close-range hero, and what she has is a flail to knock him out of the way. It's like, hey, I could really hurt you, and, well, not anymore. I can't do much. Like, here's a flail, get out of here. And maybe that's good, because maybe if there's someone approaching mid-range that she can't deal with, she just pushes him away and she retreats. So, it works. It's a two-edged sword. Alright. So the other notes I got on my board, when I talk about sustain, I mean the ability to stay in battle. So when we talk about duelists, I was like, I know everyone's going to bring up the flankers, Genji and Tracer. But the problem is they lack consistent, that's the big thing with Brigitte, consistent sustain. Why is this? It's because Genji and Tracer are evasion-based tanks, which changes based on the enemy's skill. And this kind of leapfrogs all throughout, from like Platinum or whatever, Gold, all the way up to Grandmaster, even to Overwatch League, where it's like, alright, at Gold, double jump, Jesus Christ, I can't hit that. The guy double jump, what are you supposed to do? He's like here, and then he's here. I can't do that. And then people learn how to hit the double jump kind of better, and so the attackers are now like Genji's on the weaker side. And then Genji understands how to wall climb and do all this stuff, and like it's this constant arms race to like evasion based versus skill based. And they're like always Overwatch League, where it's like it's kind of like 50-50. Like if a Genji attacks an Ana or someone in the back lines, like a Zen, like Jonak, Genji's probably dead. Right? Like he has that 2-second deflect, and if he doesn't get to do what he needs to do, he's probably dead against a very accurate player. So evasion-based stuff is inherently inconsistent, and then which Brigitte attacks as an anti-carry. That's what I really, as a duelist, Brigitte's really good at finding one person and shutting them down. And that's why Tracers and Genjis were really, really difficult in this meta current. And that's why they're bitching a lot. Is they're just like, Brigitte's overpowered, and it's like, because as a flanker you were seeking one-on-one battles, which at the time it helped you, right? That's what you were good at, but you're not good as one-on-one battles as Brigitte. Why? Because she's consistent. You can double jump all you want. I'm not missing my flail. I'm not missing my attack. I'm not going to miss my stun. I'm going to get healed. Good luck trying to duel me. Same thing with Tracer. They just essentially Genji and Tracer can still be played, but they have to stop looking for the Brigitte and trying to focus her. You gotta either pull her away from the team because she has low mobility, and then use your high mobility to attack someone else, or essentially attack with the team and either just completely destroy Brigitte immediately or destroy part of the other team and then deal with her later. So Brigitte is an anti-carry, and I said be extra careful when running single hero dependent lineups. So like a Nanoblade. We're actually going to see that in today's game. Genji is usually he's revered for his ultimate. It's very consistent. It's very powerful. You can do some things to stop it and delay it and deal with it, but most of the time, like you see Genjis and they get 2 or 3 kills. Like it's one of the most consistent ults in the game. It's a 5-meter attack. He gets 6 or 7 swipes. 120 damage with nano boost. It's 180 damage. So that means with a dash reset, it's an immediate kill on 200 hit point hero. It's incredibly strong. It goes through everything. It cleaves. You cannot stop it with shields or anything, right? Just very, very consistent. All these things are like very consistent about the hero. Uh, so when teams depend on a Genji to Blade, Brigitte as an anti-carry is a very big hindrance. So if there's any strategy depending on a single hero, and I say we also figure that if we depend on one hero too much in any strat, it could end up poorly. So if your dive isn't crisp, if your dive isn't very good, so a lot of dives depend on the Tracer to come in and get a lot of damage off, and then the Tracer calls everyone else in and they damage them. And we get our kill. From there, they're gonna seek out better fights, like essentially advantageous fights with their high mobility to kill the rest of it and snowball from there. If you 100% on this Tracer, Brigitte will end dive for you. Now, if there's other teams that don't fully depend on the Tracer to get that much damage, or they don't fully depend on any one hero, then they have a lot better chance of succeeding in dive. So when we talk about dive, people are like, Brigitte kills dive. It's like, maybe Brigitte kills your dive because you don't run it right. Maybe your dive is not as versatile as you thought. And this is just to talk about versatility. Overwatch Central once asked me, they're like, well, you said Junkrat's very versatile. And I was like, well, a lot of people think, like, as a player, as a quote-unquote one-trick Junkrat, people think I'm not versatile. But I think versatility is one to many, right? So one person playing 10 heroes. They're a very good hero. Like, they have a very good heal pool. They're very versatile. The way I see versatility is, I can play Junkrat 20 different ways, right? And people are like, that doesn't make sense. Junkrat's Junkrat, you only play one way. But now we're seeing, you may be able to play dive, but you can play dive like 5 to 10 different ways. And you have to explore these different ways instead of just a standard way that they show you in Overwatch League. And as Overwatch League players get better, you're going to see their dive start sharpening different types of blades. And they're like, all right, we need to dive in this way or that way or this way, etc., etc., etc. And so their dive can work against, like, I think dive can work against Brigitte if done very uniquely. Do I have an idea of how to do that yet? No, but if I really sat down and strategized it, I think we could. I think the community as a whole, we could come up with something to allow dive work against Brigitte, but it's gonna deal with like either A, targeting the Brigitte, or B, not targeting the Brigitte, create a distraction here to attack over here. Another Sun Tzu quote, all war is based on deception, right? If I show you everything, I'm like, I want to attack this spot, and everyone's like, oh, let's defend that spot, and then I attack over here. Like, all right, great. I deceived you. I can take advantage of whatever you left over here, so maybe like an Ana, maybe a Zen, some low mobility thing, but stuff like that. There's ways to run this, and that's the main point I kind of want to make for this, is that I don't think Brigitte really shuts down anything that hard. At first, since we do things naturally, like we want to do it the same way over and over and over, and this new hero exists, and it's stopping us from doing it as we used to. So we just abandon the idea, and we look for another way to win, which is a different strategy. You need to be stubborn to a degree and tenacious, and you need to focus. Maybe we can run the strategy just under different conditions. We have to do something differently. We have to specialize in this. And this kind of goes along the one trick idea where it's like, I only do one thing, but I can do it against everything. If you run my quote unquote counter, I can beat it because I know this so in depth. And I believe in the coming years, Overwatch League will go to this. The players will get better. The coaches, the analysts, they'll get better. And they'll start running very, very specific dive things to beat specific comps so that things, if you learn how to deal with your counter, and I don't like the word counter, everyone knows this. If you learn to deal with your counter, you've actually stripped the enemy away of any weapons they have against you. And it's almost like 100% win rate at that point. If everyone's answer is X and you know how to beat X, you're now ahead of the meta, and you're going to be you can take advantage of that for the next month or so. I think Dallas is in that current spot currently with their usage of Brigitte. And we're going to see how they use it after this, and it's good. It's really good. They're very sharp. So, yeah. So that's kind of like my little spiel before we actually look in on the game itself. Since this is live, I'm sorry for YouTube people, but were there any questions? I'm sorry, my laptop's over there. Did anyone have any questions before we get on with the review? And I know Jinx Kinks, Everyone knows him because he hangs out with me every now and then. He's a good Brigitte. I think he was top 100 with Brigitte, and he's played her a lot, and I just want to see if he has anything, because it's good. Like, I watch Brigitte, I can conceptualize her. Like, I may or may not play her on my other account, but it's good to get someone's opinion that has to deal with at least the top 500 of it. I know they're not Overwatch League, but top 100, yeah. So top 100, and it's respectable to get that person's opinion on what they think about that. So, Jinx, do you have anything to add before I start my review? And if there's any questions in chat, I'll be happy to add or answer them very shortly. As I take this down, and for anyone that didn't see me set this up, it's a good thing I'm a martial artist and I keep a bunch of random bricks. How do you approach no aim? Don't worry about that right now, nuclear card. And Jinxie, if you have anything specific to say, you can throw it to me on Discord. Cleared up on how to play against me very well. It's sense of mind game. In sense, it's of mind games. Yep. With Brigitte, there are a lot of situations that constitute how I play. Yeah, and her being a new hero, everyone's kind of like throwing everything they got at her, and this is actually a really good time to one-trick Brigitte, not only because technically you're abusing her because she's new and she's people don't know how to deal with it, but also people are going to try to be dealing with it like in different ways, and then you can actually build up your vocabulary as a Brigitte player and learn how to deal with all these things. Yeah. How do I feel about the current amount of control in Overwatch? I think it's fine. I think Brigitte is. I know people are like, "Oh, it's the stun meta," and it's like, all right, what do you got for stun? McCree, Hog, Brigitte. There's something huge I'm missing. I don't want to talk about alts. I know there's another big one. But those are the three, I think, normal ones. So Doomfist is kind of stunny, but overall, I wouldn't consider there to be a lot of control in Overwatch currently. I know people. Ultimates are ultimates. Ultimates are supposed to be that way. Remember when we talked about the E and esports entertainment? Ultimates are there to build hype. Ultimates will always be strong. They will always be able to kill one or two heroes or save one or two heroes. They're always going to be an ultimate, right? You're never going to find an ult that charges in 3 seconds and it's used like an ability, because then it's just an ability. The sleep count, I wouldn't call. I mean, technically, yeah. Orisa, is that control? Not really. I mean, yes, technically it does mess with you a little bit, but overall, what people are really complaining about is Brigitte and maybe Hog. I don't know. I think all of the stun currently in Overwatch is under very specific conditions, and all these conditions to me seem very fair and balanced. The shield bash, it's like, look, you're within 7 meters of a hero that excels at doing that. Complaining about Brigitte's stun is the same thing about complaining that Widow snipes me long range as a Junkrat. I'm like, whoa! I'm trying to shoot her, but she shoots me in the head. I can't play against that. That's not fair. And everyone's like, you're dumb because Widow excels at long ranges. Try to like flank her or do something else, and they come up with all these excuses. And it's like, all right, well, I'm Brigitte and I stun you. Well, it's imbalanced. I can't do anything against it. Can I use the same argument that you use against me with Widow? It's like, don't attack her where she's strong. That's the problem. Everyone's doing things as they used to, and Brigitte specifically wins those conditions. So, I think it's fine now. Are Brigitte and Roadhog the main characters who are stunning as a huge part of their kit? Yes. I would say those are the two heroes. McCree, I wouldn't say it helps them obviously, it's a very good ability. Anyone playing deathmatch understands that it's just McCree's stun and shots. It's good, but it's not a core part of McCree's kit. Because if you see a good McCree, he's just headshotting you at like 25 meters, and you can't do anything about it. I want to be skilled at Genji. This is not a good time to learn him because he's not hugely favored by the meta. Yes, you'll learn your difficult matchups first, which is good. You're getting the hard part out of it. Alright, with that, I don't see Jinx giving me any more information. So, you'll send questions tomorrow. Have a great stream. Good night, chat. Okay, Jinx, you're out of here. Well, good night. Thanks for stopping by and talking about it. And with that, I think we will move over to the review. Alright. Let me bring up my notes. Here are my notes. Sorry, I had to get something to drink because I talked a lot. One more question before I take out. He says, what about more physical map additions? What about more physical map additions as abilities? Maze walls, e.g. jump pads, or area now. As long as used tastefully, I don't want like a whole map to be like 20 jump pads. Powder. Yep, you say something. You think there are some heroes that are impossible to one trick do well? No. The metagame is healthy right now. I think snipers need to be looked at, but overall, it's healthy. And I think that's it I'll take for the questions. Alright, one more question, just because I keep saying that. With the skill ceiling always increasing with a hero like Widow, does that mean given time, hit scan will completely eclipse projectile? That is what the first part of that was the first part of this entire thing was about. I can't answer that right now. I need to put my thoughts down on paper and actually like look at them. But in theory, you may be onto something, but I don't want to agree with that right now. So now we're going to look at. Can I switch this? All right, cool. Let's make this full screen. So now we are going to go into Dallas Fuel versus Philadelphia Fusion. As I said before, we are going to be skipping the last match. Just because Brigitte's not used at all, and it's not applied to this specific review. I did do the points for it. Like, I did review it. I'll just tell you right up front, Dallas win that one. They do it in a very good way. It was mainly, dive tanks with double sniper, and it comes down to snipers getting picks, and then that's kind of it. Both teams take advantage of it. There is something to get out of it, but again, not for this review. So, pow.
This is generally a map that you would think you would see the old Philadelphia tank line in, but they're just really rolling.
So we're just going to do this at about this one. And so we notice at first, hey look, no Brigitte, right? Hold on, let me move my mic. Apologies for any noise. There we go. There. Sorry. There we go. So now, no Brigitte. Why? Because the first point of King's Row, and let's bust out King's Row the map. Here's the map. When we look at the first point, one, you have very long sight lines, right? Very long sight lines. Almost everywhere you can get a very good sight line for. Snipers are really good here. A lot of teams are using this high ground to defend, so now you add in verticality along with long sight lines. Brigitte's not going to be used there. And what we're going to see from both teams, and I'll just, well, you know what, let's watch it. I won't spoil it for you guys. So here we go, they're just kind of scouting for information, seeing what's up, and they're like, okay guys, they're on the high ground. Can we spam the shield? Not working too well. This is a very cool idea, because look, they defend the high ground here, and what any team is going to do, just think about like water. Be water, my friend. Water wants to go this way, and it's encountering resistance, so what does it want to do? Well, we're going to go through hotel. And this is kind of the common way to deal with any static defense, is to fan out and to get around multiple sides of it, right? Attack it from multiple sides. They can't defend all sides. You win. But what Fusion do is they stick a Junkrat right here, and this is a closed-in area, so Junkrat should be able to get some damage done, in theory. So they took some damage here, but on Junkrat's escape, you are a very floaty target, and you can be targeted down by Mr. Siegel right here. Good job, Siegel. Number 1. Give you a little star with a 1. Good job. So now, because of this kill, they've relocated from here all the way to over here. And now that they're here, Hanzo goes around this way. They also, I believe they have a Diva, but they have a Widow, and I think the Widow is applying pressure this way, and the rest of the tanks are going to come around this way. And we're going to see some very good stuff here. So he's waiting for the scatter cooldown. Didn't get any kills. So now here they are. And see, we can see over there, we have over here, and then we see the guys right against the wall. And remember, in Chro's chat, we have defined high ground, right? Because when we talk about stuff, we want to actually define it and for it to mean something. So, high ground. Bam. What does it mean? Well, it means someone's on the high ground, right? They have the advantage, right? Everyone's seen Star Wars. Come on, Anakin, you're doomed. Actually, high ground, it provides 2 main advantages, and the one is options. And by options, I mean, as the person on the high ground, I can drop down when I want, right? Everyone has that ability in Overwatch. Not everyone has the ability to jump up. So, as the high ground, I have options. I can do what I want when I want to. And the other one is I hide information. Now, Hanzo is good for negating this, because I put an Plant Side 2 again. When I put a Sonic Arrow here, I can see exactly what you're doing. Because that's the second advantage of high ground, is I withhold my information, and I'm on the high ground so I can see everything you're doing. So I gain the information edge twofold. 1, I hide mine. 2, I see everything you're doing. So these are the 2 advantages of high ground. But the one weakness of high ground, well, there's 2 weaknesses. 1 is this very, very small range right below it. Anyone has to stick their head out of any type of shield to shoot down there. Secondly, distance, right? If we have a tall building, right here is one way, because people really can't see that well. They have to get very close and get a very sharp angle, and they have to expose themselves to the maximum degree right over here to shoot straight down. And the other way is distance. So if this is the playing field, if I'm way over here, I can actually see everything. The weakest part is like this mid-range where it's like, all right, I kind of can't see everything over here. I can only see what you're willing to show, and all of that. So distance is the other good category. So very, very close, and also very long distances. So even something like over here, another long distance could be over here. They could actually take their own balcony here, right? Whatever keeps this distance, and this technically would get the highest ground because that's above this, but stuff like that. But what does Dallas do? And this is the part that took me like a while to figure out. Oh no, it's the other way. Sorry, it's the next one. So, as the commentator just said, they got 2 ticks for free, which is fine. In my opinion, this is a resource, and you just don't want it to get to full. So if you're willing to give 2 ticks or anything like that, that's completely fine. You've still defended the point. If you require to give up 2 ticks to regroup and properly attack, that's better than rushing on 1 at a time at the lowest amount. Actually, people on the ladder, even top 500, really need to understand this, especially in 2 CP when everyone's just running on point and dying in single file fashion. Just let them get up to here and then reattack as 6. That's going to be your best chance to win. So this is fine. And as you see, they're using these long sight lines to get all of these kills, all this damage off. And even though they take up here and up here, look how Dallas is defended. They're all right here. They're all right below them. So this is a very, very good defensive formation for attacking up here. Because 1, you negate the high ground a little bit by taking long sightlines. 2, if they do try to take the high ground over here and up here, you still have cover basically past these points. You kind of force their hand to come on the point and to relinquish their shield at first. And that's exactly what happened. Orisa's already died once, and now Orisa's there by herself. And then, bam! Slowly but surely, they all die. And now we're moving on.
Mickey's at 67, so being so close to Graviton, you expect them to hold on to the dragon. And Unko and Harry Hook are nearing their ultimates as well. I think I really want to see some playmaking.
We're just watching some this is what Widow and Hanzo do. They push up, they occupy very long sight lines, they control a lot of area, they're very good at suppressing. And people that have watched me a lot, well, I've said, in the way that I say, Brigitte is to bar, Widow is to suppress. As in, like, putting a blanket over someone. So, some trades take place. Nothing big happens here. Very simple. Main tank dies. Get out. So, snipers are doing sniper stuff. Like, it's kind of a second game. But, it should be noted. Shift left to go back. This is a dead body of Carpe. Which is really weird, because you're like, wait, that Widow's really deep. Yeah, she is. And she's dead. So, as they all backed up, Widow gets rezzed that deep in. So, as Hanzo pushes Winston out, we see, one, Taimu get Junkrat through this sightline, right? And then we see Seagull kill Widow. Why is that? Oh, there's Widow's body. Widow had to burn the grapple just to get this far because she was so deep in. That res essentially really screwed over Fusion because it essentially gave them the Widow again and used the res up. So even if you could back up and get the Junkrat right now, they're still, instead of being even, they're now down 2 heroes. And when you're down 2 heroes, pressure. They're just going to bully him out of the second point right now. Luna Boy asks, should Carby just wait where he was? I think he just needed to respawn.
It's a smart switch from EQO. Just too much pressure from these snipers. They need another body to be able to contest it, and Junkrat's not that guy.
Practices rocket jumping. Come on, Mickey.
So, we see Taimu uses ult. So all this Winston vision, who is, you can see the orb right there, is now going up against the Hanzo Widow. We'll just watch it. So, next. On the front lines, though, we see a hammer down. And now, this looks really weird. Because, I mean, Zen was pretty hidden, right? Everyone seems very, very hidden. Everywhere. And now, they do have the ultimate edge. They have 6 ults. But they use an Earth Shatter purely on a D.Va. Why? Because D.Va can eat Grav. And everyone knows back when D.Va kind of started becoming meta, Zarya kind of got pushed out because her Grav kept on getting eaten. So D.Va can't eat Grav when she's stunned. And so usually when people get stunned, especially one person, the natural instinct of everyone, if you see one person get stunned, you're like, bam, that stun was wasted. Everyone save this person. We're going to be up in ult. Like, they just wasted all their stuff. So what happens? Bam, let's save this guy. Oh, shit. They grabbed. So the Grav got everyone that kind of got taken advantage of because their natural instinct is to dive in and save this person. While Zen saves them, and here comes the dragon from Hanzo. Remember the Winston that's completely separated from his team? Yeah, he got put down by the support combo. Pretty handedly either. So while these two alts, or three alts technically, Hanzo, Zarya, Ryan, it didn't look like they got much. They did get the charge off and they killed the Zen, but more importantly, the back lines handled themselves. They're up 2 men. And when you're coming in with this much time, I mean, they got stopped once on point 2. That's it. Go ahead, throw all your alts. It's not a big deal. Yeah. So they use more alts just to secure this point. Sure. I know people are like, well, they could have done something more efficient, and you got to get this min-max idea out of your head. And sometimes you got to be like, all right, let's not min-max this. Let's just overkill it and take the point 100%. It's better to have a 100% chance to take a point than maybe you could have saved 2 alts and not taken the point, right? That would have been a worse thing to happen. So, I was talking over this. What happens in the double sniper meta? This is what happens. You kill them, snipers push up and suppress long sight lines. Bam! Suppressed. Suppressed twice. It's now, and they res the Zen, who did use his ult, so he's at pretty low charge. This essentially nets them the second corner. Because King's Row, if you actually any game, any defense, you'll notice they get stuck here, stuck here, stuck here, stuck here. Like they get stuck at corners. Like this is where the game gets stuck. Corners are just really cleverly disguised choke points, more or less. So it netted them a very notable hard corner to take, which is this corner. And the thing is, again, I've talked about this in other streams, is that if your defense falls back, whenever the defense falls back, it opens up flanks. So usually, let's just say classically, you would see a defense here, and you kind of don't have any flanks from here, right? You just kind of push in, that's about it. Then the defense falls here. When the defense falls here, you now we'll use a different color. Look at this, we'll use a different color. Now this flank open, and this flank open. And then when you really pressure them, we'll use green. Back to here. Now all flanks are open. Now this is open, this is open, this is open, this is open, and this is open. To fall back is to expose a flank. So we will see that. Right here. So right, we'll always see the first defense usually right here. You kind of got one flank here. You kind of got one here, but it's a very long sight line. Good snipers can shut that down. You know, as soon as you fall here, sorry, gotta move this up. As soon as you fall back here, right, flanks get exposed. Right, you fall back here, you get more over here, and that's just kind of how Overwatch works. That's how almost all maps in Overwatch work. So getting these 2 picks bought them one of the most difficult corners in King's Row to get past. That's the whole point. That's why these picks are smart or very good. Scatter, fucking scatter. Winston just gets put back, and so now, if people don't realize the importance of what just happened, a sniper just bought space for themselves, which is very, very strong if you can do that. Like tanks can't contest the sniper if you're that good. So now Winston tries again. 8-second cooldown and scatter. What? Now I said. So I'll just do this demonstration again. Hold on, please. Sorry. So we'll go back to the camera. Now, I've talked about this before, but snipers, what they do is suppress, especially Widow. And this is kind of the demonstration I did before. So, let's say we got this little table. When I say suppress, what I mean is to cover. So I got this stolen towel from Lifetime Fitness. And you suppress. Alright? You basically cover. This is to suppress. And now the funny thing is that if you suppress an area, now let's take my Tiger Balm jar. If you suppress, you kind of know where things are. Even if you can't see them, you know where it's at, right? So snipers right now, Hanzo and Widow on the last point of King's Row are suppressing the point. And they're forcing people to go where they cannot shoot. So by denying space and seeing that people are not there, that means you know exactly where they're at, right? They're where you can't see, which is very easy to see on King's Row, right? Snipers can see basically this entire point. It's going to be lines like this, kind of like this. If someone was up here, right, it would be over here. So they know the supports are this way. And Siegel, he's not a dumb man. He's like, oh, I'm suppressing the area. Where do they hide? Well, they fucking hide right here. He gets 2 supports. This is just a huge advantage already. And then D.Va gets picked. Alright, big advantage. Winston doing his best to keep people off the point, trying to buy the team time. But now this is... I don't know what that one was. I really don't know. Maybe he thought more damage was going to put on the bubble. But very weird decision. But as we go back here, we'll notice the Zarya died. But the Zarya died very deep. The Zarya died back here. So as they're fighting here, Mercy res. Here's the Mercy res. Bam. And now essentially you have a flanking Zarya. Right? Because the Zarya is way back here, and she's going to see this. And now she does a very smart thing. While that goes off, she grabs one side. And this gets 2 kills and a D-Mech, as we're going to see right here. That res wins them the point. Well, it's like, wow, what happened there? What? That's very odd what happened. And Fusion had a chance to defend, but this res on the Zarya, and then they cleaved half the field. Because the team is forced on point, they knew they were going to be close enough, especially with the grab. It's going to take anyone close, put them right in the clump. Kill that clump, you're good. So, let's just skip ahead. Oh, we can watch the Widow. This is when, I always say she because it's a Widow. This is when Taimu, remember, he's totally unskilled, right? God, but where has he been? He's so bad for 2 months. Skill doesn't work like that, you goddamn idiots. He's always been good. He's still good. Of course he's going to hit those shots. And so now we will see the Dallas defense.
Oh, we looked at the Widow battle and just, for stat-wise, completion-wise, 9 and 7 Taimu eliminations, final blows, and as I mentioned previously, Carpe 4.
So skip ahead because we control time right now. And we're kind of seeing, well, let's just wait. Are they going to run the Moira? I believe they are. They go Trip Tank.
Interesting rollout here from Philadelphia.
So we see the same exact defense. They defend the high ground. And we see a little bit, I think this is because of the pick that happened, that Siegel got the pick on Fusion. Siegel's like, you know what, I could punish people in Hotel, but I'm just gonna sit up here because I got picked. I got picked last time. I was a little bit greedy, or I picked the guy that was trying to be greedy. So D.Va, what her purpose here is that because everyone hides on this very, really close to the high ground, because it's one weakness of it, D.Va can just go boop, boop, go right up and down. That's why the Junkrat's there, because he can get this sight line. Widow is way over there. She can get this sight. So they're all kind of planning that, yeah, they're just going to push against the wall. Let's kind of plan against that. Now we just see D.Va, and she kills a Zen. And I just want everyone to see how important this is. We are going to, for a very... Oh, there she is. There's the D.Va. Now, I want everyone to take note of the time. 1930. 1930 is when the diva goes up.
Meant to crack shields and put some pressure on it, but
Now we see the Junkrat and the Mercy. Like, they both see this diva, so they're both going this way.
right away,
Cool.
taking on Unko is huge. Hoppa's been so good on this diva.
Yeah, Hoppa
Diva gets the Zen.
be a DPS. He nearly picked off Seagull as well with the help of Carbon.
And
There will be a res on Unko. Carbon's got a back.
1943. A single diva put pressure. She killed a Zen. So let's just cross out Zen. And she forced the Mercy and the Junkrat and the Widow back. Alright, let's just cross the diva out. Okay. Who's going to win point? Well, you got 5 heroes over here and you got 2 over here. They're both almost dead, and as we're going to see, this single move by Diva
Hunt them down. Mickey was hot on his heels.
puts so much
Seagull just chucked
pressure on them,
the mix. Does find a
there is nothing they can do against it. Leaving the tanks alone for 13 seconds in Overwatch is death from one single character. And this is the part that took me 5 minutes to find out. I was like, where the hell was Taimu? Because I was like, alright, he's not there. Where can I find him? And I was like, going back.
The Roadhog as well, so a lot of meat on the ground. Triple on
Where is it at?
Moira and Lucio going with them.
There's Widow. Pow. And we're going to see Widow go over to exactly where Diva put pressure. So that's where the Diva, or the Widow is at currently.
Meat on the ground. Triple
She's trying to output damage there, and now she's going to get aggressed on by the Diva. Right there, we see her fly up.
shields and put some pressure on it.
We can see Taimu, he almost dies.
Huge. Hoppa's been so good.
But we come up here, and the Widow's gone.
Hoppa really, he might as well be a DPS. He nearly picked off Seagull as well with the help.
I actually paused it on the exact second that we can barely see her. She actually had to go all the way around and come over here, and I think we're going to see her heal, and she's going to pick up the health pack.
There will be a res on Unko. Carbon back off and get back over towards his heels.
Oh no, she's actually shooting the hog.
They're trying to hunt them down. Mickey
But either way, not only did the Diva take the attention of those heroes for that 13 seconds, the Widow legitimately did nothing. The Widow was busy repositioning and just running away and trying to line up another shot. And where she is at is over here. Oh, wow, man, you can really cover nothing. Nothing. And actually what she was targeting was the hog. The hog was bodyguarding right here. So, Widow, one move by Diva, putting pressure here, forced the Widow to go all the way around here and then just shoot a hog a couple times. And,
in the meantime, Seagull just chucking in grenades. Right?
I mean, this is a very advantageous spot for Junkrat, but it's too much of a disadvantage to lose all your tanks. You're going to lose all your point pressure. And now look, hey, Zen's on point. Good job, Zen. Oh, Junkrat's trying to defend on point. Yeah, he's dead.
Cleaned up.
Um,
Anyway, I wonder if they have a wholesale chance to switch because
it,
by the time Seagull led that tire rip, that fight was over. Everyone had,
this entire point was won by that.
it's a really
And I know it's funny. I'm like, don't look at a single point and say that's what won the game. But man,
just chilling down here.
Diva pushing up there won that point from him, hands down, single-handed.
Moira in her back. Look
And now, oh boy, boy, the whole point of this review, the bridge comes out.
Oh yeah, Boobox didn't even have to use his coalescence. No. It's just so smooth there for Philadelphia Fusion. Now they're going to have all sorts of tools to work with. Unko and Harry Hook aren't too far behind on their ultimates. So we will have Dallas
All right, what's Bridger gonna do?
fight. Philly
Well-
they're the ones who get to decide how do they want to make it happen. Coalesce
So, this whole thing starts by Diva getting hooked.
on their ultimates.
You have to take advantage of this.
Online here for this next.
So, what's the big deal about Diva getting hooked? Yes, you do output a lot of damage on the Diva. That's great. Cool. But she's going to run away. Wait. Why would you run a Diva in this lineup? Well, yes, she has mobility. She can kind of contest high ground, low ground. She can put some pressure. But I think in this meta, people run a Diva for the off chance to absorb Dragon Arrow, Graviton. If you're running away, you can't absorb
Philly Fusion are
stuff.
the ones who get to decide.
She turns around as the Diva's on the escape. Fucking Perfect. Look at this lane, and then let me just draw the line that he shot through it. And Dragon Arrow is not exactly a thin thing, so it's probably going to take up like this, more or less. So you got one spot to hide here. You can run into house, but other than that, anyone defending this corner, it divided the battle perfectly. In fact, we see this. The Reinhardt is going to get killed, and we saw the Brigitte. There she is. There's Mickey. Good job, Mickey. Mickey doesn't want to go into it because he dies, so he runs this way, which is into everyone. The battle's been split. Alright, I just got the two-person advantage. That Reinhardt's not getting out. Alright, anything else? And because of the Lucio, this should be noted. They are running a Lucio. Lucios, whenever you see one ran, it means they're going to be aggressive. Aggressive. AGG, aggressive. They're going to speed boost on stuff, especially when you're running Diva. So that's what they do. They got 2 picks, and as soon as 2 picks happen, what Dive does is Dive wants to take the next fight. So what they do is they just want to find the next target and kill him. And that's what they do is speed boost so it happens even faster. And now this is when we see Brigitte start paying off. This is some really good. This is the rest of this game is actually, if you want to know how to play Brigitte, clip this part of the video and that's it. So we see Reinhardt and Hog trying to buy a little bit. Hog, Diva, they're all trying to push up. Right? And it looks like Reinhardt wants to step through his shield. I should say Fusion's Reinhardt wants to step through the shield to get a hammer. So as they're putting all this pressure forward, what happens? Brigitte. Brigitte stuns. And then everyone bursts the shit out of Reinhardt, who gets saved from a support ult. Now, as you see, everyone's fighting everyone. But because of the Zen ult, OGE's shield is down, which means he's regenning his shield, while the Fusion shield is up. So we see his shield taking more and more damage, takes too much damage, shatters, and he dies. And why I want to say why this is so goddamn cool is Brigitte barred this side of combat. She said, no, you will not go through this part of the payload. She actually bars it from anyone getting in. And the only reason she can do that, and this is why the stun is so important, is the stun. If Brigitte didn't have the stun, she would not be able to control any area. And since she is to bar, to restrain, to push out, you can't. She just stops you. The other cool thing about this tactic, and this is actually what I love the most, is this. Fusion, can we do orange? Oh, I can do orange. Look at that. I can match what's being played. Fusion is played out like this, right? They got the Hanzo and stuff putting pressure this way. They got the other guy, the tanks, kind of putting pressure this way. Can I do white? Oh no, I don't want to hit W because that actually makes the whole screen right. We'll use red. What do Fusion do? Fusion presses this way. They divide them in half. Blue. Chop. They divide them in half. And this is the best part. They're running Lucio. Lucio boops them this way and separates the Reinhardt from the rest of the team. And the Diva and them go to kill them while the Reinhardt shields the rest. Does anyone see how good of a tactic that is? They pin them against the wall. They cut them in half. Lucio then booped the weaker half away from the healers. And the Reinhardt gatekeeped from the healers to the weaker part. And they destroyed the weaker part over here and then went over here. Oh, like It doesn't look fancy, but I freaking love. Like, this is what I love. Right here, they're putting pressure. They're going to drive him forward. All right, they split him. Lucio boops. Reinhardt away. Carpe. Reinhardt. Right here. Big division. The rest of the team. What do? Speed boost. Everyone, get over here. Kill a target. Now. Now. Take out 2 targets. All right, everyone. You're done gatekeeping. Kill the rest of the team.
It's a ridiculously good sound barrier too by Neptuno there to keep them.
Beautiful.
Give them a fighting
Like, I don't know if Harry Hook meant to, like, oh, I'm pushing them away from that. But it was so well executed. It was so well executed. Divide, push them away, and then kill the weaker part. It was very, very well done. But remember, it was all started by Brigitte holding down this far side, and I don't want to rewind the video that much. So with the cart right here, oh, sorry, I just spazzed out there for a second. With the cart right there, a lot of Dallas' supports are going to be in this area, and they're going to help people this way, and you're going to notice this a lot. And while the DPSers can sit over here and kind of put damage on this side, the reason why the Ryan and Hog went this way is to push them out into, 1, the DPS's line of sight, and 2, essentially with the tanks over here, they can't get damaged. And also, this protects the Hog and the Reinhardt from anything damage coming from this way, right? It kind of separates the battlefield. Sun Tzu, again, another quote, he's like, if you have, I don't know the quote exactly, but if you can divide the enemy, divide them. Or if the enemy's larger than you, divide them. Or if it's equal as well. But either way, fucking divide them. Use terrain, use a river. That's what he always likes to do. And in this time, the payload is part of the terrain. Use it to your advantage, and you're going to see this a lot. Oh, not over there, but over here. So the cart right here, we're going to see Brigitte locked down this way. She's going to bar this. She's going to stop anything from happening here. And that kind of limits all the options on the near side. So, this part is... Alright, you see the Divas trade. Let's see if anyone figures this out, because it was very weird for a second. I don't know what the hell happened, but you'll see it. So, the dragon divides combat in half. Also, the bombs both get kind of mitigated by hiding. Both Diva bombs went both left and right. The Hog went through the dragon ult, and he's going to try to put pressure here. But, Time was like, you know what? I really like Reaver. And, he's already dead. It took, I think, 2 seconds. It was pretty much instant. Now, everything's exchanged, and now check this out. I really, really love this. Again, the supports are kind of chilling here, so they're breaking line of sight from the DPSers that are here. They're supporting the team based on this sight line. You'll see the tanks, they're always going to chill here, and everyone's going to chill in this sight line. So the DPSers are using the natural defense to save this. Or to avoid damage, to blind themselves from the DPSers. They're very safe over here. You can see it right here, right? There's this line. So, Alt gets nothing. You see Brigitte. Oh, but what happened there? Well, Brigitte locks down. Again, she bars this side of combat. She bars this. Alright, DPSers, are you going to shoot through this? No, well, you can't. Well, you're going to go all the way in here and then shoot that? Well, no, you're not going to do that. By sealing this, it makes a kill box. The best part about this, all the supports have line of sights of everything there. The DPSers have no line of sights of any of the supports. There's nothing to do here. Fusion has been outplayed so much at this point in time. There is literally nothing to do because Brigitte locked down, again, the far side of the card. And the inside seems a little bit dangerous for a DPSer to actually walk up all this way. So, see, she's fighting. She locks it down again. And everyone dies. Everyone in the kill box dies. And now, the weird thing, when I was watching this, I was like, what the hell's Hatba doing? What? Why? Why the hell is he just shooting people with his blaster? What the fuck? Didn't we start this out with 2 D.Va ults? She should have her ultimate, right? Oh, this is so fucking funny. This is so funny. D.Va ults are traded. Call back. Bam! Stunned by Brigitte. Oh, Brigitte strikes again. She locked down the far side of the cart. Oh, man. So good. So good. What? Oh, man. Let's watch it again. Why did you get in that mech? Why did you push up? Why did she push up? Don't go within 7 meters of a Brigitte. You're gonna get stunned. So again, the whole time, Mickey locking down far side of cart, allowing this to be a kill box. We'll watch it one more time to play out. At this point, look, the Moira, the D.Va, and the Hanzo couldn't help anyone at all. They were also down a hog, so it was a 5v6. Not only that, because of the division with the payload and the Brigitte Day, putting down essentially the cap on this, right? This caps it from this way, the payload defends it from this way. Everyone back here is dead. Nothing. Nothing you can do. Beautifully executed by Dallas. Mickey, frickin' working wonders. All this is just cleanup. Just absolutely beautiful. Next move you want to see? Watch all these changes. Taimu just respawned. Very, very smart on his part. He's watching, and as you see the hog change, he changes to McCree. This is just a very good, this is just good situational awareness. Just top notch. Because if he came into this fight with Reaper, it would be completely different.
He had a very good Reaper ult on Blizzard World the other day. Taimu and Carpe both going to run. McCree's here. McCree's used to be run a lot on last point of King's Row, not so much lately. So that's the switch.
So here we go. Just normal pressure, just normal pokage. Very weird. Okay, so this is old patch. So Brigitte, she has 150 armor. I find it weird. You're going to see right here, I'll just tell you, Fusion is going to disengage as Brigitte ult goes online. I don't know the numbers exactly. I think Brigitte, she does 15 armor a sec, or a tick. I forget for how many ticks. But they disengage here. It's going to stack to 150. Right? It's going to stack. I don't think disengaging really nets that much less armor than if you attacked when it was going on. So after this, and I think this is partially because of Lucio, they're aggressive. And I like this a lot. And I think also because they get the pick. Just camp the body, get pressured out there. With Brigitte, you can really camp or really pressure hard, because if they put up a shield, just stun it.
There's one thing that's bothered me about Dallas's play throughout most of the season. It's been pretty passive.
So right there, that's just straight up coordination. There's nothing much to talk about there. Brigitte stunned the Rhine. Immediate hammer when that happened. Won it. We can just talk about the next point. Not much to really say there. It's just, it's a good combo. So, and in traditional Overwatch tactics. If you're ever given space, fill that space. You do some poke to get some ult percentage up.
You don't just wait for them. Hey, we have a good chance for a shatter. Good.
So McCree's trying some sneaky shit here. A little bit too sneaky. And remember what I said about corners being really hard to take? So Harry Hook ults, and they're going to defend this corner. One, because corners are really good to defend. And two, they have the Brigitte armor, and before it gets... you don't want to engage in a poke war when you have Brigitte armor, because it's just going to get stripped away. So what do? They Lucio ult, so the Lucio ult takes the damage first, and you still have Brigitte armor after that. Essentially, you're just massing hit points and trying to win that way. It doesn't happen. Pokes happen. Ult charger gains. The big thing is that Mercy uses her ult, and while they do essentially use some ults here with D.Va, usually when a team retreats, you kind of want to aggress on them. So this D.Va, while it is to waste the Mercy ult, to me, it's more about prediction. And like when you stun one target, a lot of people will come together to try to defend that one target to make sure they live. Whenever one team retreats very hastily, usually the other team will follow. So this is to take advantage of that. So this just pauses it, just slows the game down. And you see, Rally's up again. Taimu has his ult. This is all gained from this poking, fall back, poke, fall back. Right? You need to use the space that you're given. Always use it. Also, we should notice that the D.Va's over there. I believe McCree was over there and she was putting a little bit of pressure on him. So McCree ult just pushes them back. And now, we'll see them, and this is kind of typical. This is what's going to happen a lot with Brigitte, is that they're going to hunt the Reinhardt, and that's what she's looking for, and that's who she wants to kill. So, nothing happens, and we see this balance out. They don't really get much damage, and we see some funky stuff up here. And I was like, what's this? What happened here? And we saw Carpe the previous push. He went over here and he came up here. And then as everyone got shield bashed and shattered and everyone died, he just retreated. He goes to flank again. And this is a good thing about running a D.Va, is that Carpe took a shot at the Zen. And that is like hitting the goalie in hockey, right? You don't do that. If you hit the goalie in hockey, everyone has the right to beat the living hell out of you. And so he shot the Zen. Carpe shot the Zen, and the bouncer came in. And this is the enforcer. And she's like, right, Siegel's going to go, oh, I'm a D.Va. You're a McCree with no movement. I'm going to absorb your stuff, and I'm just going to win this fight. So she fights McCree one-on-one. And the craziest part is that Taimu was trying to flank the exact opposite way. So Taimu here, he's going this way to get around to the supports. See, there he is. Now get this. Look at the pincer. A double flank all the way around the map. Both sides. McCree kills McCree this way. Ah, I love it. It's just how things happen, and it's hilarious. The Mercy goes to help him. Mercy dies, and now it's Zen ult when all they have is a D.Va, a Reinhardt, and a Zarya trying to damage this. You're not going to damage through a Zen ult with that. I don't think it was meant to be a pincer. It just so happened Carpe flanked and got caught with his pants down. And flanking against a D.Va is very risky. Take it from a Junkrat in top 500. Like, before D.Va, when she was like played every game, if I ever flanked and I saw a D.Va, I just ran. And now, so that was a good fight. So Carpe was dead. Yes, Carpe definitely dead there. So Taimu pushes up. Why does he push up? One, he has 271 hit points. Not really afraid of anything. He can get away. Not only that, but Siegel's backing him up here. And he's at 77%, which is a very... It's a good place to have your ult, because you're about to get it if you put some pressure on. And that's exactly what happens. Just shoots him. Times. Alright, gets ult. Let's get out of here, boys. We're fine. Also, I want to make note. Zen has 68% ult. Now, didn't he just save the team? Let's just back it up a second. Yeah, that last fight, he definitely used it. There it is. He's at 0%. And now, just watch. I'll just let it play. Watch this. 32%. 40%. That's pretty quick. He's still getting it. And look at that. Oh, 55%. 60. Oh, that's up to 70. That's pretty quick. Oh, Taimu got his ult. So, again, we saw Brigitte locking down the one side of the cart. And this is what Brigitte does. Again, bar. So Ryan's trying to create space, which, by the way, Ryan trying to create space is very dangerous when there's a Brigitte. But the stun was down, so you're okay for a second. Oh! Zen just hit a lot of shots, because he's at 90%. And what do we see again? Fucking Carpe. So, Zen gets his ult. Like, that's good. It's just incredibly well done by Zen. Very, very skillful. Got his ult. So while all these ults come out, again, Zen has his ult again. And the unsung hero of this one, it looks like Brigitte's doing a lot. All these ults came out way too late. The secret winner. So we see they win the fight. But watch this. Taimu. As they push in, Taimu ults. Taimu is ulting from over here. And he's putting this area on lockdown. Yeah, there's a cart right here. But this area's on lockdown. Everyone's hiding behind the cart. D.Va, here's her outline right here. That's a D.Va. D.Va's hiding from the Deadeye. Everyone's running that way. D.Va's over here. What? Yeah, the Brigitte does kill the Rhine. But, more importantly, the Rhine is alone. He has no one to help him here. And not only that, but like a Zen ult's going over it, he's dead. He's dead. And, you know what happened? Where's the McCree? Where's Carpe in all of this? This is just Brigitte putting pressure on. We see Zen kill McCree. And where was Zen? Carpe, he was overflanking. You see the McCree right here? Again, the McCree is going this way. I think he wanted to get like a Deadeye on the far side. But because they're running Lucio Brigitte, they want to put pressure, right? They want to attack. And what do they, my chat can actually answer this. What is the downside to flanking? What's the downside to flanking while we watch this guy flank? So Deadeye zones everyone. The one person that can't get away dies. Zarya was way back there because she didn't want to get Deadeye. Zen's even farther back. D.Va's in the corner. Bam! Everyone in chat gets it. Flanking takes time. And when you're running against an aggressive composition that wants to jump on you, do not flank because it is a 5v6. If they noticed, and I bet you Dallas noticed the McCree wasn't there, they're like, guys, it's a 5v6. We have ults. Speed boost, get in there. Let's take a 5v6 with all our ultimates. We can't lose. And they couldn't. Legitimately, they could not lose. yeah, Taimu dies. Big whoop.
What beautiful play. Done and
Overall, just very, very beautifully done by Dallas. Carpe didn't help by overflanking. He got caught with his pants down twice. Another time his team died. Actually, 2 times his team died while flanking. It takes too much time. When running against an aggressive composition, usually Brigitte wants to be an aggressive composition. Usually Lucio wants to be a very aggressive composition. Very well done. Dallas win this, and they win it with Brigitte. And I just want to say, just to remind everyone, Brigitte's main deal in this one was to bar. Again, Lansao to bar, to restrict access from one side of the cart. She essentially dominated the far side of the cart because the inside for DPS to come all the way around this way and like shoot over here around the cart is too dangerous. No one wanted to do that. She dominated the inside of the side or the far side of the cart, and then from there she either put a cap on from the supports getting through to the kill box, or she just stunned people. And remember, this is why her stun's on a low cooldown. If she cannot stun, she can't zone properly. She kind of loses her ability to any meaningful ability to tank. If she's just doing her DPS, big whoop. With just her DPS, that's as a tank, I would just run up in her face and kill her. As a DPS or like as a Junkrat or McCree, I would just stay at like 5 meters, 10 meters, whatever her melee distance is. What is it, 7? I'd stay outside of that and I'd just pepper it down. Without her stun, she loses her ability to tank completely. She has no ability to hold space. And her shield's too small, it's not like it can defend everyone. So that's why stun should be on a 5-second cooldown. 6 second seems to be fine, but it can't be any longer because she's dependent on that a bit to do her job. So we'll go back to the review. Nope. Okay, so we will go to game 2. Bookmarks? Game 2. Look at that. I made a bookmark for it. Aren't I fancy? So this one is Hanamura. And sorry, let's exchange our maps. Hanamura. And well, it's Hanamura. It's a very choke pointy map, right? And Brigitte's good in small choke points, so they're running the Brigitte again. So right there, the most important part we just saw. Why? Why, people? Can anyone say why? Let me just pull something up in case you don't know why. Bam! Information. Most important thing in Overwatch. Everything is based off of information, right? Mechanics in action, top, it's important, but hey, build up from down low. Information, plan it out, get to where you need to, then do your action. Bam! So they get the info. They get what's going down. And they're like, hey guys, they're doing an Orisa on the high ground. We're running a Lucio. How long do you think it takes for you to speed boost from this entrance to the point?
Definitely not. But Dallas just broke.
Any guesses? Any guesses? If your guess was, well, Chro, maybe the duration of defensive matrix. I would say, fucking spot on. Speed boost to the point, defensive matrix the entire time. No one does any damage whatsoever. They're on the point. No one did damage. Nothing happened there. Nothing. And they got to the point. And what makes this strategy even more beautiful is, well, everyone's like, ah, crap, they're on the point. Everyone get to the point, get to the point, get to the point. Oh, man, they Statue of Liberty played it perfectly. Taimu didn't. He didn't. He didn't go. Why is that so good? Why is that so good? Because everyone's over here looking this way, and you got a freaking Great Widow over here. Orisa's shield. What are you going to do? It can't cover 360 degrees. Are you going to defend against the team, or are you going to defend against the Widow that's going to kill you? Taimu flanked without moving. Correct. Because flanking is based on the orientation of your team or the enemy. If you force the enemy to move, you can stay still and flank. 100% correct. What happens as they try to figure this out, like, we're getting attacked. They're on the point, guys. Got to stop the point. But there's a Widow back there. What do we do about the Widow? They're like, I don't know. Get on point. D.Va gets stunned. And we didn't see this a lot last time. But Mickey is very, very good at timing his stuns. And you will see him throughout the game stun D.Va when she's using her boosters. And he shuts it down, like, every time. Just every time D.Va's there, he won't do anything. As soon as he uses boosters, puts him down. So D.Va tries to contest the point, gets stunned from the Brigitte. And, alright, so you're down a tank. You have a Widow at your back. Not only that, but this is really good because they're all looking this way. And with a D.Va absorbs all the damage in here, or Reinhardt can block this entire area. So with one tank, either one of them can completely shut down the way the enemy's attacking. The enemy over here is just, they have no idea what the hell to do right now. So this is super easy to defend from. OGE's shield breaks. Mickey can back that up for a smidge. If not, D.Va can back that up even, like, thirdly. What happens to the Orisa? Guess what, Orisa? Widow. Bam! Shot in the back of the head. Alright, you're down both tanks, and you're trying to push through a choke point against this lineup. You cannot do it. You can't do it. They can't. There's just nothing to it. The best part, they completely ignore the D.Va. They're just like, get the point, boys. Fuck it. D.Va's like, oh, I'll throw myself off the edge. Again, they're running a Lucio, meaning aggression. Go, go, go. Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. What are they doing? They're going. D.Va respawns now. Alright, they're on the point. D.Va's not there. The Winston tries his damnedest, and this is when you need to give credit to Taimu. He sniped the living hell out of him. We can just see it. Like, he's getting beat up by a D.Va right now, because you can see D.Va's go up. And then, look at this. You can see the animation. Oh, man, that's a chunk of health. Oh, that's you getting your ultimate. Got headshotted. So, where are we at? One tank's in spawn. Second tank, more or less, in the edge. Like, off of combat, dead. You have no tank. You have no ability to, aggress with D.Va or Winston against an Overwatch League Widow that's going to have the distance and the high ground of your spawn room. At this point, even if nothing else happened after this, I'd be like, alright, they've won. So, the reason why Winston died so easy there is because he came in with like 100 health. That's as far as he could dive without the Widow shooting him in the back. D.Va is just getting out now. And guess what? Look at this defensive matrix. Oh, I'm going to save you, Winston. Oh, wait. Consistency from Brigitte. Right? It's the consistency. You cannot block. You cannot do anything against melee attacks. Right? So this damage was 100%, unless there was a Zarya, Winston was dead. Because of the consistency of the nature of Brigitte. So what happens? They try to kill Brigitte. Watch this. D.Va uses thrusters. Shut down. Oh man, that's a Reinhardt Brigitte just smacking you around. While this is all going down, that was a very good defense. OGE living here was paramount. And then, guess what, guys? Two tanks dead, Widow in the high ground, with wall hacks. What are you gonna do? You're locked down. And then the shield bash just for good luck. Shield bans them to get out. There was a couple things that really made this point catastrophic. The D.Va dying so late. The D.Va not being there, essentially the defense had no time to set up. Which we could say, oh, well, maybe D.Va should just killed herself earlier or jumped on point to try to contest, because either she would have contested and died or just, stopped the point from capturing. She could have died faster. You could try to point the finger that way. But I'd rather not point the finger at the defense. I would rather say, look, they were running a hyper-aggressive offense. Whenever you see Lucio, Brigitte, expect ridiculous amounts of aggressions. And I think this is what everyone's going to take away from this game. Because there's a lot of people like, oh man, Dallas is really ahead of the curve on the meta. Dallas is going to... What do they do? And it's like, they ran a Lucio with her. That's the big thing. It was this ridiculous level of aggression. The fact that on offense they ran D.Va to shut down their entire way to the point. The D.Va actually played a really big part here in defending Taimu. The reason why Taimu had space to headshot the Winston was because of the D.Va. So this Seagull-Taimu combo that I believe is... Yeah, right there. Seagull is playing bouncer at the staircase while Taimu is just having free reign. It was very good teamwork on Dallas's part. Like, this is just textbook. Since they're running a Brigitte instead of an extra DPS, they're running one tank on your DPS because you have to protect her, right? You have to protect her. This is a big source of your damage. It's very important enough to put another hero on it. Well, how can we make up all of this people in the back? Well, we can do that by being in their face with Brigitte, Ryan, Lucio. It's not like you can shield the damage. They're doing 100 DPS damage a second, basically. Maybe even a little bit more. Because, yeah, I'd say maybe it's like 110 damage per second. But with Zen Orb, they're more like doing 140, 150 damage a second that you cannot block no matter what. So that means in 2 seconds, most 200 hit point things are dead. And it just snowballs from there. So it's a very good... This entire... I really like this lineup. I think this lineup is very strong, and I like it. Do you think if the new Hanzo was in Overwatch League, the push would have worked the same? It depends on where the Hanzo would be at. He wouldn't have been able to stop the D.Va just absorbing everything when they were protecting the high ground. Maybe he could have gotten a headshot off on someone when they're on point, but he was going up against the Widow on one angle, and then everyone else just being on point on the other angle. I don't know if it would have made much of a difference. And, well, frankly, he was not played in this patch, so be it. I don't know if it would have changed that much, but maybe. Because it's really hard to say if different DPS was played, because it depends if that person was consistent at the time. Like, if Hanzo hit 1 or 2 headshots, then yeah, it would have been a completely different game. But that's not what happened. So, oh yeah, so here's the Widow. So as Seagull's playing bouncer, wall hacks, he's like, alright, you're dead, and you're dead. So, the focus, I know, of this review is on Brigitte. So, she did play, on the first point, maybe a less than stellar part. She wasn't a huge influence, but she definitely assisted. When the D.Va came on point, she's shutting down the D.Va. She's dishing out a little bit of health, that's always, great to have. And in this kind of sniper meta, with her shield, for a low hit point hero, she can survive a little bit longer against the snipers, which is, again, very nice to have. So, good job. Her main job on this one was shutting down the D.Va, which she did beautifully. She also healed a bit, which is great. It's a nice addition. Damage was... I'm not going to say the damage didn't help, but it was... As a team, it did very well. Mickey's part was shutting down the D.Va.
That was blindingly quick. Let's go.
Philadelphia did a total...
Mickey, I will trust you.
Philadelphia did a total of
So
50
let's speed this up.
especially in your neighborhood in Hollywood. You live right by the street.
Reinhardt trying to get a little bit extra charge here.
Just barely outranged the crazy. I got lucky. All right, Philadelphia Fusion now on the offense. Let's see if they can get it done as quickly as the Dallas Fuel. It's a tall order, but anything is possible, especially with players of this caliber. So EQO will be on the Hanzo to kick things off. We will have a double.
So we notice, one, they're not running in Orisa's defense. In this meta of snipers becoming better and better, I think dive still has its place, even with Brigitte in the game. Now they're not running Brigitte, so they're not even, up against something terrible. This is actually really important. Again, Seagull playing out of his mind. I know it didn't seem like a lot, but he's just playing bodyguard on the upper flank.
I mean, Dallas's defense has never been an issue. We've talked about this, towards the end of stage 3 too. It's like if they could only find
Again, and that's the nice part right there. Even if it was Storm Arrow, he has to get through 600 hit points worth of shield to even kill the Brigitte. So that's right there is the extra tankiness really paying off.
would actually be a good team because they held a lot of teams that could just never complete it.
And because they have technically 3 supports, but 2 supports and a Brigitte, all this like little chip damage, like Mercy and Zen, they can each stick on a tank, and then they don't have to worry about Brigitte. So let's mark this off. So they can each like pick a support. She's in the background, so either she more or less is going to get one shot or be fine, and then Mickey can just handle himself. And even if something did happen, Mickey can cover where the supports are not.
It seems to be a completely different story today. They finished out Kings. They've already finished Hanamura once. We might not even have to go to a second round.
So this Taimu gets a snipe, and then another. Or no, sorry. Okay. No, Mickey got a kill, but he got a help from the Widow. Now that didn't seem impressive. Like it was good, but I really like what Taimu did here. So as they put pressure in, they have line of sight on Taimu, and then he sees, oh, they're trying to get to this area. Like they want to get in this area. So what does he do? Very, very intelligently, instead of staying out here and trying to get it picked this way, he cuts the angle. And he goes over here so that no one can shoot him. Right? No one can hit him here, no one can hit him here, no one can hit him in here. Even the Hanzo here has a hard time hitting him. But as the Mercy and the Diva and everyone jump through, the Widow has great line of sight on them. This is very important. Essentially, Widow has said, everyone that can kill me, I don't care, because you can't kill me right now. You can't even see me. But everyone that you're throwing in, I can see perfectly. It's very subtle, but it nets him all of these kills. So we see the Mercy jump in right there. Even with the Diva blocking her, it doesn't do it the whole time. And then you can see the outline of Diva. That's a Dallas Diva, that's a Dallas Mercy, and then the Widow's coming in. So, because Diva's applying attention this way, the Fusion Diva has to look this way and can't protect the Mercy, right? That's why, essentially, his attention's grabbed. That's why the Diva can't protect the Mercy properly. And now that there's just a Diva back there, just gets... Let's see if... So, there's one shot. You saw the percentage go up. See if I think Taimu gets another shot off. I think he shoots her right in the ass as she gets out. Oh, nope, he didn't. So those 2 picks, great. Stalls the points again. Again, look at this defense. This is very, very... Oh, sweet. They gave me... I wish I just had... If Blizzard could give me anything, please, if I could just get replays of this view, I would be so happy. Look at this. Zen, no chance of dying. Brigitte, she's there, support there, but right now, because her shield is so small and essentially there's a chance that maybe she could get picked this way or someone ran up this way. Like, the shield does have issues and there's a chance of her getting picked from a side. Big ol' Reinhardt right down the middle. D.Va covering the small one. This guy's helping her. Zen can help whoever he wants. Timing way in the back. It's very well done. It's I really like how they're doing this.
It's like no, we're playing Earthshatter Reinhardt, and we're gonna be right up in your face at the door. You're not getting through.
They're kind of playing squads right now too. So Harry's hanging out with Seagull. They're watching top right. OG is center.
So Winston jumps in.
Right behind. Anko is safely behind all of them, and then Taimu is alone, just on
And
the back point using
it looks like Taimu's still putting pressure this way.
for whom the belt.
They're not really worried too much about the Winston. Alright, so now people are more coming in.
Headshot though.
And I really like this decision, so we're going to watch them.
A follow through attempt there from Seagull on the high ground, not quite connecting. There will be a presence on the point.
Notice how they just kind of...
Bodily Seagull going for the self-destruct just to get a fresh mech. Then bodily.
So we use this above you. They're kind of... They have this egg shape. Like, they're not really expanding out this way or trying to defend this way as well or pushing in deeper there. They're just kind of really holding their ranks very well. Even with someone on point, they're like, look, we can give up a tick. It's not a big deal. We captured this with 6 minutes and 30 seconds left. Let the Winston screw around over there. If Winston's over there, D.Va's over here, that means everyone else is without a tank. And then this D.Va bomb clips Mercy. Sometimes you get lucky. With Mercy dead, the push is kind of very scary at this point. Everyone in the back... So, right there, you just saw a Zen Orb. You can see the Zen Orbs flying by. That means everyone back here does not have a support. And they kind of just get chipped down. And not only that, but watch this. I really like this part. We're going to see D.Va. Well, everyone tries to go this way. We actually see D.Va flank this way. So she goes back to point. And now D.Va's going to go this way. Everyone's back here. Ryan putting pressure here. Widow putting pressure from the far side. And if they try to retreat backwards, they meet a D.Va. If they try to go forward, they meet the rest of the team. Just a pincer. Very subtle, but very good. See if we can. We'll watch everyone's health get chipped down by the D.Va. So right here, we're going to see the Winston die. D.Va starts coming out. Starts putting pressure on everyone else. And D.Va's a bully, right? She's meant to do exactly this, just pressure people.
Off games, and when you got enough players with a little bit of a slow start, things can get nasty.
Perhaps this is karma for the domination that Philadelphia put onto Florida.
So just gets clipped. That happens. Hey, whatever. That's Overwatch.
Wrong time, ran out of luck, punched his ticket.
Hey, we got to say this the other day when Philadelphia was on Florida for it. But hey, Philadelphia, why don't you start small and get a kill?
We see a Genji now. So they dropped off the Genji Tracer. Or they switched to the Genji Tracer. They dropped off the double sniper. Now we're seeing the supports get the armor, which is very good against Genji Tracer. And again, remember what we talked about at the first start of this. Brigitte's really good against these two because they're kind of evasion-based heroes, and stun stops that evasion. She's a very consistent hero against the mechanics that Genji and Tracer are built upon. So now it's just the good old Hanamura choke point.
Oh, he nearly just goes ahead and one clips him with the micro missiles. Okay, then Seagull. Some style points here, I like it.
Old patch might have been a kill right there.
And I want to make a point, what we talked about in King's Row Point 1, about you push the door down a little bit, and when the defense steps back, they open flanks. These are the two best people at exploiting these flanks that open. And look how little this flank gets opened. Reinhardt is just going to drop a little bit. Tracer pushes through. On the other side, so what happened is, let me bust this out. D.Va and Tracer went this, or Winston and Tracer went this way. And as the shield went back this far, D.Va, Genji are going up this way. And what this does is, Winston's going to use his ult to get an extra life here, and Tracer's going to get put back here. D.Va is going to bodyguard this, and Genji's going to get put back here. And if you didn't know, you can climb up over this and jump over here. So, essentially, by pushing through with these two big tanks, they give the door, they jam the door open just a smidge, and Genji Tracer can take advantage of that, and they're going to get in. So this is how you crack any defense. This is any very beautiful way. And you saw the D.Va there go back to help. So once her job is done of getting the Genji in, go back with the team. So we see all these ults come out. And this is all just damage control. But the seed has been planted. Genji killed Widow in the back. So right now, they force the door open with ults and tanks. They inputted 2 flankers, because that's how you... Any defense, this is what you do. If there's a defense there, push them back. If the defense is here, get in flankers on either side, and then allow the door to close again. Now you're forcing the enemy to make decisions, and when anyone makes a decision, it can be wrong. The more decisions you make someone make, the more chances they have of being wrong. So now they have to not just make a decision based on, do we go after the Genji, do we go after the Tracer? Do we send 2 after the Genji? Do we send 2 after the Tracer? It's a more complex problem than just getting 1 flanker in, so they have to give a proper answer. And a wrong answer means you lose the point. So this is very, very textbook of how to take a choke point. So, as we see, Tracer's doing stuff. Reinhardt ulted the door, got nothing. Reinhardt dies. They bring up Widow. And it just so happens Widow gets the Tracer. Perfect. One of those variables is now gone. And it was handled by someone else. It was handled by a DPS that wants to be in the back. She handled her own business, which is perfect. He just beats the hell out of Genji for a second. And then the Mercy kills the Mercy. And then since the Widow has space, because we just saw the Genji get bullied, we saw the Tracer die, the Widow starts doing what Widow does. We can even watch her percentage go up. So the first jump right here by 11% is on Carpe. She's going to jump up another bunch right there. And who was that on? I didn't even see that. That was Carpe. It looks like Neptune took 120 damage. Yeah, Neptuno, and then the Mercy finished him off, and then the Widow gets the Zen. So by clearing all the space, killing out the flanker, and not only that, but I think Fusion. Usually, when you have the enemy divided, you kind of want to put pressure from multiple angles. It's just better to do. But what they do is they all clump up and they attack from one angle. Right? So because they pushed in so far and they got the flankers in over here, even though the flanker died, the formation of Dallas is still on the point. It's really weird when you're spread out like this and you're like, wait a second, guys. Everyone go over here and attack from one direction. Dive doesn't excel at that. Dive excels at just everyone, bam, bam, every direction. Just that's Dive. So here we see everyone like tanks are trying to save people at the same time. But here's 3 people right there. I mean, it's a very odd decision. And then with no supports, they're just getting chipped out. They wanted to reset so they can actually have a proper push at the end. So here's the last push. Remember when I said if your strategy relies on one person too much, an anti-carry such as Brigitte can shut him down pretty easily. Just throwing that out there. So they're all the way back. They're on point. And that's because of the Winston swap from Reinhardt. Reinhardt was killed. He wanted to get back to point faster. He went Winston. They're going against Dive, so it's perfectly acceptable. Like it's still a good hero to pick. Winston's playing door guard. Genji sees the Mercy. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get this. Shut down. If you ever hear a Genji ult, look for your supports. They're probably gonna get bladed. Also, I've been noticing this about Mickey. is that after he gets a numbers advantage, such as killing the Genji, we will see him ult and use, because Brigitte does get a speed boost. Look, she completely ignores D.Va and goes straight for the Zen. He does this. He did this on Chro a couple times, and he does it on Hanamura as well. It seems whenever he gets the advantage, he just goes straight for the Zen and just beats the hell out of him with his alt speed boost. Or on Chro with the Lucio speed boost. So, very convincing when Brigitte playing a huge role in both parts. So now, hold on, where's that map? Let me bring up. What are you playing next? Oh yeah, so this is the next one. Game 3 is on Leos. Putting all this tab. Thank you so much. Not Elios. Legion. Map. So I will say, you can actually go to this. So at this point, the Brigitte part of this review is they do not use Brigitte at all to any success on Lijiang Station. And I'm dropping the Watchpoint Gibraltar review because it was really boring. It was double snipers, Winston D.Va. Just like, alright, tanks push forward, they create space. Did the snipers get a pick? No, alright, they didn't get the point. Wait, they got a pick? Alright, they got the point. It was kind of that the whole way. It's okay Overwatch to watch, but unless I was getting paid to be an analyst by one of these teams, I will not. I don't want to go to it in depth. So I did write notes, and it was just crummy, so we're just going to skip that one. But we can see Brigitte, her strengths. She's not used on any of the other maps because of verticality or wide open spaces. Basically, they're not close quarters like Hanamura or Chro are. Which is really cool. Alright, so she's a bit of a map-dependent hero. Great. That's kind of where we want her at. And she's not really map-dependent. I would say she's map-dependent in Overwatch League. On the ladder, probably a decent pick any map, more or less. Ladder's ladder, right? It's not the big leagues. So just looking at my notes, I mean, what we saw, I think I delivered what I wanted to with the focus being on her consistency. That she's a very consistent hero, and why that may be overpowered if she was long range and mid range, she's only short range for all of her abilities, right? She's short range for DPS, she's short range for tanking, short range for support. That's kind of what balances her out. The need for her stun, everyone's complaining about her, but her stun is the only reason why she can tank and lock down an area. Her stun is one of her fundamental designs to be able to bar and like physically lock down a point. Because if you just look at MOBAs or anything, a tank hero that isn't a threat isn't a tank hero. It's just the massive hit points that's over there. You're like, I'll just ignore it. It has to be some type of threat. In Brigitte case, it's lockdown. Essentially lockdown and a little bit of sustain for her team, and then just kind of zoning with the flail. The damage is okay, but it's not like a McCree just headshotting everyone, creating space like that. It's required. So I know a lot of people are upset at her stun. She needs it. It's good for the game because it just stops 1v1ing. Like, it's a very anti-carry hero, but it's only anti-carry short range, which is why on the ladder right now we're seeing a lot of Hanzo Widow, or snipers in general, because they're still good against Brigitte. They're still long-range heroes, and she's a short-range hero. So if you're a long-range carry, you're good against Brigitte still, but if you're a close-range carry, like Tracer or Genji, McCree to a lesser extent, but McCree gets outranged by Widow, so there's that whole mind game. But that's the reason why you see Brigitte really good against those two, and why Tracer Genji are having issues right now. Duelist launches out a bar. Low durations. She needs support. I guess that's the other thing. So on Chro, we saw her with Lucio a lot. That really benefited her. It allowed her to be super aggressive and bash the shit out of everyone. Even then, she was always with a Reinhardt or some other type of tank. So while she could defend for a little bit, she had some reprieve. She could defend back. She had her flanks covered because she's very weak to flanking. There's another shield to defend her flanks. It was very well done. The D.Va had mobility. D.Va's paired with her is great because Brigitte lacks mobility, and since her flanks are weak, if she ever gets caught off guard, the D.Va can immediately deal with that threat and allow her to get proper positioning to deal with the oncoming threat. That covers the yin yang side of her related to the Overwatch paper and that. We talked about sustain, the ability to last battles. What I mean, get your tracer, their evasion-based stuff. Evasion-based stuff doesn't do very well against consistent abilities like flail that goes through everything, and then shield bash. I think I covered Brigitte like I wanted to. So this last part, we're just gonna watch Liu Zhang Station, Tower. Sorry, I always call it Station. And with this one, I think the focus right now is just gonna be on Pharah. We're gonna talk about Pharah a little bit, just because it's really weird to see this enclosed map, this first one, and be like, why are they running Pharah? That's really odd. It's because she has specific advantages on a couple of maps, so we can watch about that one. Thoughts on Rally? It's good. It's very good. I like it. So I think okay, so we'll just go on with that. I don't know if anyone had any questions. I think I'm pretty happy with how I covered it. If you have questions, throw them in YouTube. If you're there, if you don't have my Discord, please throw them in there. I love talking about this stuff. I'm asking right now. No one's got some questions. Bunch of crap. Bunch of guys out there. But yeah, so let's just get right back into this.
Where he's jumping all over the place. We'll see what he wants to play. Also, probably the better Pharah as well. So they're going to run Pharah on control.
So check this out. Oh, what is this, McCree and not Widow? That's just because of the close rangeness of this map. But we are seeing Pharah on a closed-in map. Why? Remember, Pharah's biggest skill is attacking. If there's a doorway, let's say this is a doorway, which it is. If she's flying above it, she shoots down and splash damages the people in here, and they, because of the roof, cannot get an angle on her. This is extremely important. This is Pharah's biggest strength, bar none. Yeah, she flies. Yeah, she's hard to hit, but this is how she takes advantage of map design. Besides just cover, very high cover. Besides the obvious way, this is kind of the unobvious way of her greatest strength. And we're gonna see mirror comps. They're gonna fight each other. They're gonna smack each other around. And we'll see all this fighting. And then we see a pick. The Reinhardt. The Reinhardt dies. From there, everyone else dies. And it looks kind of like, oh, well, maybe the Zen got lucky. What happened? Actually, it's a very subtle difference. What won this point is this. So at this point, essentially, Fusion got to the point fast. Fusion's a little bit, I would say, it's very close. But Fusion's up here. Everyone can put pressure on the shield. And I think the Zen was over here and he moves later. So right here is the big difference. 14% to 8. Also, 28%. 17%. So, oh, sorry, that was backwards. So, basically, Taimu did damage against Shadowburn, which is great. It's going to put Shadowburn down so he can't do damage, but he got off a couple of good rockets. Zen's almost dead. McCree's almost dead. This is a good exchange. Why? Because these heroes have to retreat now, because they're in danger of dying. Also, Zen can't heal himself, so Mercy has to heal Zen instead of healing the main guy. What does this mean? That means for these next seconds, Philadelphia Fusion have more damage on the shield, right? Because they're too worried. Dallas is busy getting healed. And look, Zarya used the bubble. He's Reinhardt's right now. I guarantee OG's like, shield's gonna break. Shield's gonna break, shield's gonna break, shield's gonna break. Look, the Reinhardt shield breaks. If we look at Sato, when he puts up the shield, look how broken the Dallas one is. Not a single crack in it. This was completely the shield game because of the extra damage Shadowburn got off as compared to Seagull. While Taimu did get more damage off on the Pharah, he could not finish it. Main tank dies, rest of the team gets pushed out. Very, very subtle difference. But a good difference. And like, this is the freaking shots right here. This is what I'm talking about where Pharah is really good. Like, okay, you can shoot her feet, but this long-range barrage is always going to happen. And so now, because Fusion took the point, Fusion now has the advantage of hitting shots down on every choke point with a Pharah. That's why they're still running her. But Dallas does not. Essentially, this is an interesting mirror matchup, because whoever wins the matchup keeps the composition. Whoever loses the matchup has to change, because they're going against the Pharah with the significant map advantage, like the terrain advantage.
And Mickey will go to the Brigitte.
We missed some action there, but I think Shadowburn was going for
So we just see some picks and some bursts or some boosts off.
I like it.
Just some poke stuff here.
Hey, he's been waiting for his moment to get back into this server. You know, there's been a lot of talk of EQO and Carpe as the duo that are going to get the job done for Philadelphia Fusion.
So this little thing right here kind of puts a bug in their ear, and they're like, all right, guys, to get out of this choke, it looks like they may be trying some flanky stuff.
Long time. They brought in several different DPS, but Shadowburn has been on the bench for quite a while, and you never know when you're going to get another chance.
But they don't. But just remember in the back of your head that flank, they're not opposed to using it. So they're just pushing out straight damage. Again, Overwatch tactic, which is, here we are. They have to go out this way to get to the point. You need to make them suffer for every single step they take. And the way we see them suffer in this one, basically by suffering I just mean damage them, force out resources, you withhold resources, just get the damage advantage. And we see it here, because again, OGE shield's cracked, Sato is not. So they kind of have to sit here for a little bit and weather this again. Because the shield is damaged, they have to sit in this little choke point. And what happens there? Pharah constantly putting down damage.
Well, he is definitely standing out. At least now he's got the barrage, so we'll see.
So Brigitte pushes out, but look at the disconnect. It's a very linear line. It's a very linear line. It's a very long line. Sorry, most lines are linear. Mickey is so far out, he's just going to get destroyed. Like, look, the shield comes up, but splash damage. Mickey was shielding here. And then Pharah from above. The splash damage is going to get around the shield. She gets killed. At this point, At this point, with the Reindead specifically, they have no way to shield through this Pharah advantage. If they try to go through any choke point, this is what happens.
Who has been pinned in the corner, does manage to sneak his way out, though.
No need for a barrage here. You already won the fight. And look at this. 6 check marks across the board. That indicates a full range of ultimates.
Dallas feel there's Zen's chilling here. I don't. I'm not sure, but I adore aggressive Mercies. Like, look at this Mercy. It's like, I got ult. Get out here, Zen. And then it's like, oh shit, that's the team. Mercy gets picked, but the good thing about being indoors is that Zarya gets everyone. I don't even think this entire skirmish was planned, because it was kind of impromptu from a flanking Zen being way too deep. It looked like they were going to come out on top with the Mercy kill, but the Zarya ult in a closed-in area with the Pharah again in a closed-in area burst through everything.
Philadelphia Fusion with 85% and counting. Dallas Fuel, they've got their backs to the wall.
So that's just a zoning shatter. This is like very this is super cocky because you're like, oh, I'm gonna stop them from getting to the point, but you're just like, you're kind of feeding them all. What saves their ass is Carpe. So Carpe just gets, as everyone's rushing towards the point, he shoots everyone in the back of the head. Everyone on the point is just getting killed by 4 people at once. It just couldn't do anything. I don't know if the Earth Shatter really helped them. It was a little bit of a cocky play, but it did pay off technically. But most importantly was the Pharah dominance in that game. And so now we're on the second one. I think it's mirror matchups again. So it should be noted, both teams do the Lucio boost first. And why this is important, they both change at the same time. As far as I can tell, as Sato dashes towards the point, we will see for a split second. We will see, look, see how the Reinhardt, you can barely see his outline. I'm sorry if you can't see it. It's right there. It looks like he's going to go to point. So it's an even race between the Reinhardts. But he goes back left for some reason. And we see a shield for a split second. Did you guys see it? Just a split. So the shield, he's over here shielding, which makes him even slower. Why am I talking about this? Because now Fuel is behind at the point. Fusion is ahead. Fusion has made it through the choke point very narrowly, and now Fuel is subjected to the choke. And you will see extremely good Reinhardt play right here. Look how he's staying over here. Like, he kind of went this way, but he's staying over here. He's just keeping everyone in this choke. He's being a bodyguard at the door. So he's doing really good. He's shielding when he needs to. Very little, but he's getting a lot of damage off. He gets the Zen kill. And while all this is happening, Shadowburn's above laying out the damage. So that little stutter, I don't know why the Reinhardt went back, but I think that little mistake or choice is what forced Fuel to be subjected to the choke point, which it meant they lost this. Shadowburn, as you'll see right here, he gets some really good shots off. I mean, he does a really good job, but understand that Dallas is in this poor positioning because the Reinhardt on Fusion did so well. Right, like, the reason why this fight takes place, and even this in half of the map, is because of the Reinhardt and the Zarya play on the point. So while while Shadowburn does do really well here, understand he's been set up by his tanks. So here he goes, he's doing the same exact stuff, and this is, if you want to climb with Reinhardt, like, look at these little battles and these little mind games. This is what really makes a good Reinhardt. The fact that you can play the door guard very well, it's the greatest boon to your team. Shadowburn gets a really good kill because of the high walls in this map. Essentially, Pharah can stay up here and dodge the sightlines of the Widow and then kind of dive bomb as you just saw there. Remember, Pharah, when she falls, is silent. So, it's very easy to sneak up on the people when you're dropping. So, with the DPS advantage, because the other Widow's dead, the Pharah has free reign. And now, look at this. Right here, again, choke point, Pharah flies above it, shoots down into it. Pharah's very most significant advantage. Here we go. So, very good.
Kills in favor of Philadelphia over Dallas. Dallas' best chance incoming here. They banked up some ultimates. They got tank ultimates. But once you control this with Zarya and Rein, how do you ever get through this door clean? Yeah, exactly. You're just going to be constantly getting chipped down. Philly is
so,
winning these fights without
Not much to say there. Yeah,
2 kills again for Shadowburn off a perfect
that's what happens when you put everyone in one small area and use a barrage on them.
Philadelphia Fusion.
Neptuno in a classic Neptuno moves, goes and kills the person who killed the person he wants to resurrect. Taimu had just gotten Boombox, so Neptuno says, hold on a second, caps Taimu down and then resurrects Boombox over his corpse.
So,
Let's see.
just this idea. So before they pushed up on the choke, but they're at an alt disadvantage, right? They don't want to be subjected to the Zarya play here. So they back up from the choke point where they'd all be grouped up together, and they kind of back up to the point. And on this map, right, you can actually kind of sit outside the point with the supports, and your tanks can play closer up. So Grav and Earthshatter have a less chance of affecting the entire team. So they back up the point and then use the backside of the point to alleviate any type of crowd control ult. And we see it right here. Crowd control ult happens. The shield's out in front. Zen ult, they're going to be fine. But this is the follow-up is what happens, and it kind of falls apart. We see Fusion, because of this charge on Dallas's part, which is really good, it actually collapses the structure. So before Fusion was like this, right? Like a very sturdy line. They had their defenses right here. Reinhardt pushed this back, and it collapsed it to look like this. And then from there, these guys are pushing out and pushing forward, which essentially eliminates this Reinhardt from the rest of the team. Right there. It's just, alright. So the main tank dies, and at that time, when the main tank dies, it doesn't mean the push is dead, but it really, really makes the game a lot harder. You're taking a lot more damage, especially when a Pharah is hitting you from very odd angles. Also, the Widow was picked beforehand, so they were at an advantage already. So here we see some pokage. This is, like, standard. Actually, Siegel's so... Like, I don't know. I guess they snuck past them. So we see, here we go. I don't think Siegel sees this until it's a little bit too late. He's always looking down, and he notices I'm here. Right, as soon as the point starts getting captured. And it's this capturing of the point that forces Dallas back a bit. Ryan and Zarya are doing their thing. But notice how they all get on point. Then Dallas starts, or not Dallas, Fusion start trying to fight. And this is the weird part. So Taimu gets a good shot off on Pharah, but they Zen ult as this happens, and they don't... Look how fast Fusion disengage, right? They just all peace out. Dallas made no attempts to chase. Look. I mean, look, everyone's still back on the point. No one's chasing. The Zen ult was used for some weird reason. And now they have the Zen ult advantage. So here we are. This is a standard poking. Just looking to get a little bit of posturing, a little bit of an ult charge. But with Widow, obviously posturing comes with insta-kills. So yes, now they're down one. The res comes out. 2-1, 2 Earthshatter's missed. But more importantly, they have an extra support ult. And with the DPS dead, it allowed Shadowburn free reign to go around. He could go around whatever. He could do whatever he wanted with the Widow down. In which case, that's what he did. But the main push came through with the Zen ult advantage. With both, Mickey didn't have his ult, and OGE just... He whiffed his ult, but so did the enemy Ryan. So it was kind of down to whatever ults were left, and the fact that they were running a 5v6. It's kind of, that happens. That's Overwatch. With Widow, it's really volatile, and people get picked, and they can die very easily. And again, we're just going to skip the last one. I mean, I reviewed it, I looked at it, and I'm just going to tell you guys it's not the most fun thing. But again, we just see double sniper, Winston Diva.
Gets D-Mech as well.
You see Winston Diva,
Fire's gonna find Winston, but he primal rages right out of it, but
Junkrat Widow.
Two Born. But obviously
They try to run
he wants the unfair one where he gets him
Brigitte,
fair fighting.
little success,
slow-mo.
but that's basically the entire point. Is again, they run Genji this time, but mostly it's dive tanks, double sniper, and that's about it. And with double dive tanks, essentially what they want to do, they want to be aggressive, create space. Whittle tries to get a pick, or the snipers try to get a pick. If they do, they win the point. If they don't, well, they get another attempt. So not much excitement on the last one. Overall, Dells does win. And what's good to know is like everyone's like, oh, they're abusing Brigitte, blah 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 blah. Well, it's like this last point they didn't, and they still kind of played the same game that Fusion were throwing at them, and they did it better. So it wasn't like they didn't deserve this win or that they abused Brigitte to the point that that's what the only reason why they won. Well played by Fusion. Sorry, well played by Fuel. Specifically, the Brigitte on Chro was perfect. Just perfect. Brigitte had some impact on Hanamura. It was a decent impact, but the Brigitte on Chro just flawless. Just flawless. Especially that attack that pushed them. Essentially, they're aligned. They pushed them, split them. Lucio booped the weaker half away from the supports. Dive came in on the Hanzo Ryan, killed him, and they went. Then as a team, as all six, they killed the other four. Like that was just perfect. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got tonight, guys. So sorry we didn't do any Junkrat play, but I had these really cool thoughts about Brigitte, and I was like, want to do them.